This story begins after Chief Richard Hale passed away. The family gathered inside the massive mansion for the reading of his will. But the lawyer did not bring papers. He brought a laptop. And he pressed play. On the screen, Chief Hale appeared, weak, old, but very clear. He gave them two conditions. First, Grace, the nurse who cared for him during his illness, must live in the family mansion for 1 year and 6 months. Second, she must be treated with full respect. Any harassment, any cruelty, and the entire will would be cancelled. All his wealth would go to charity. The room went completely silent. Margaret saw it as an insult. Ethan insisted they must honor his father's wishes. Grace only said one thing: "I came to respect the man I cared for, nothing more." From the very first week, Margaret made it clear Grace was not welcome. She did not shout, she did not fight. Instead, she applied quiet pressure. Seats were changed at the dining table, so Grace always ate alone. House duties were rearranged, so staff avoided her unless necessary. Items began to disappear. Doors that were once open now required permission, and every small mistake was used as a reminder: you don't belong here. Margaret went further. She planted doubt. She suggested that valuables went missing whenever Grace was around, but Ethan did not believe it. He checked the schedules, spoke to staff privately, reviewed every record. Nothing was missing. Some incidents never even happened. When Ethan confronted his mother calmly, her story collapsed. Grace had been living under a quiet war, a calculated attempt to frustrate her until she gave up and left. As Ethan stood by her, he discovered the truth. Grace was not just a caretaker. She was the nurse assigned to Chief Hale during his cancer treatment. She cooked for him, bathed him, comforted him. She stayed when others disappeared. There was no romance, only duty, compassion, and loyalty. And slowly, Ethan began to respect her. Then he became conflicted about his feelings. Finally, Ethan called the family lawyer. The answer was clear. Grace must stay in the mansion, but no one else had to. Margaret understood immediately. She could not force Grace out, so she left the mansion. She promised to return only for the final reading of the will. 1 year and 6 months later, Margaret returned. The family gathered again, and once more the screen came on. Chief Hale spoke again, this time with devastating truth. He knew Margaret had been unfaithful. He knew she abandoned him emotionally during his sickness. Ethan was not his biological son. 3 DNA tests confirmed it. Yet he said something deeper. I raised Ethan as my own because I could not have children, and I loved him completely. Then came the inheritance. Peter, the loyal staff, received lifelong support. Ethan received 20% of the companies and full ownership of the mansion. Grace received almost everything else: properties, lands, accounts, because she stayed when everyone else walked away. Chloe, the staff who helped Margaret, received nothing. Then came the final truth. Chief Hale revealed why he placed Grace in the mansion. He believed she and Ethan would form a bond because he trusted her character. The revelations broke everything. Ethan questioned his identity. Margaret faced her choices, and Grace became the heir to almost everything. But the story did not end in bitterness. Grace told Ethan, blood does not make a man, character does. Margaret returned humbly. She admitted her bitterness, her loneliness, her mistakes. And Ethan forgave her, not by force, but by choice, because he wanted to break the cycle. And in the end, 3 broken people chose truth, chose forgiveness, and chose a second chance at family. If this story touched your heart, please like, subscribe, and share with someone today.